how do we get our kids to take responsibilities for their own faith? So what comes to mind when we first talk about this topic for you?
Yeah, the first thing to acknowledge is that it's quite a painful thing for parents, because I hear this a lot where parents of teenagers come to me and say, oh, my 13-year-old doesn't want to go to church anymore. They disengaged. They don't get it. And, as a pastor as well, I hear this quite regularly. So it's important to acknowledge that it's really difficult. I think one of the things that we've talked about a lot is about the concept of lighthouse parenting. And so there's a contrast between when the kids are a lot younger, they just do exactly what you tell them to do. They go where you take them. But at around the 12, 13-year-old stage, or maybe slightly younger, we as parents have to begin to adjust our approach, not only to our parenting, but in terms of how we model our faith to our children.
Yeah, I came across a really interesting clip on Instagram recently about how unintentionally some parents might try to use witchcraft in parenting. And the idea of it is just the whole your will, like you're trying to impose your will on somebody else, and how dangerous that can be, because our God's a God of free will. So he has blessed us with this amazing ability to exercise our free will. Yet, as parents, we don't actually want to let our kids have that free will.
Yeah, and I think it's us often not adjusting our mindset around parenting, because it's easier just to tell, do as I say, go where I ask you to go. But I think the thing about taking ownership for us as adults as well is, if someone gives us an idea, we need to have the opportunity to think about it. And we may have questions about it. One of the things that I've heard many times is that it's not doubt that drives young people away from the church. It's unexpressed doubt. So often, and what it means is that so often the young person might have questions about, does God really exist? All my life I've been told that God exists. I go to church. Everyone around me thinks that God exists. I've never heard God. Like people seem to talk to the wall when they pray. Like, what is this all about? But they're too scared to ask the question, because, we have nice packaged answers often in the church, just believe, he's real, it's real for me. And the young person's like, well, I've never experienced that.
Yeah.
I've never heard God's voice, but they're too afraid to speak up because they know that they're going to get shut down. And we don't do it intentionally. We're just kind of like,
it's fear, right? Because parents who are afraid that they're going to lose, I guess, not control of their child, but they're worried for their child's, future well-being, their eternal well-being. So they desperately want them to have a relationship with God. So when there's that sniff of like, or maybe they're not keen to like go to church, you can react in fear, but actually we've got to react in love and faith, and actually trust God that he is doing the work in their hearts when we can't see it, right? And I think, again, it's like you talked about respect, and other times we've caught up, and respecting those young humans and giving them that respect that, okay, they might have different opinions and they might have questions, and that's actually okay, and we need to hear them out.
Correct. And I think it's about creating the environment in our home where a young person would feel comfortable to ask us any question about anything, about their faith, about friendship, about sex, about money. And it's not easy. It's very, very difficult for us as parents to be able to let go, because, internally I'm a bit of a control freak. So, I like things to go the way I want it to go. But I think if we think back to how we took ownership of my own faith. I think back to my early days. I grew up in largely a Christian home for most of my younger years, and it was at uni when I started to explore secretly other religions. I looked into Islam, I looked into Hinduism, I looked into many different things, but I was too scared to tell anyone about it. So I did it all in secret. And interestingly, I went full circle, because the only thing that made sense for me was Christianity. And it was from a perspective of understanding it. Like, I already had the relationship with Jesus. I knew God exists, but I was like, what about these other religions, right? And so I think being able to create that safe space for young people to ask questions. But secondly, also, it's just model your faith. Just talk about it naturally, about, your conversations with God, or what you think the Bible is teaching you as a parent, and also express your own doubts from time to time, to go, I'm not completely sure about this as well. But I'm choosing to believe.
So here's a question then for those who maybe agree with you. They wish they'd kind of set this environment in place, but maybe they haven't. Maybe the horse is bolted here, and now they've just got a 15, 16-year-old who's like, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to church anymore. I can't be bothered, or I don't want to go. This is not for me.
Yeah.
How do you handle that conversation? What's something that the parent can do to engage and maybe help that child back on the path?
I think the first thing is to not give up and to continue to pray for your child. And it's never too late to change the way you approach things, because I think that, for teenagers, the biggest thing that will shock them is when their parents begin to show a bit of vulnerability and admit that, they've got things wrong. And one thing you could do is to try to have that conversation with your young person to say, hey, look, I respect that you're making this decision for now, and I'm not happy about it, but please know that I'm praying for you. Right? Or just go, hey, if ever you feel you need to talk about something, that some of your doubts, you can talk to me, or maybe talk to your youth pastor, or maybe talk to someone that you respect.
Yeah.
And this is where involving other people in our parenting is very important.
Do you think there's a particular age where you really need to take that seriously? Because at the moment, I've got a 10-year-old and a 13-year-old, and they're like, I don't want to go to church today. I don't feel like it. Like, it's not that they are anti Christianity, or they don't want to go because they don't, they're not seeking God anymore. It's more of just an inconvenience and having to
They're
brush
anti
their
getting up
hearing.
in the morning.
Yeah, basically.
They want to play Minecraft.
How do you know where they've come to that kind of almost worldly adult stage where they're deciding, hey, I'm not really for this?
Yes.
Like, what age would you say that would be about approximately?
Yeah, I'd say that's around the age to begin to have the conversation. But obviously, a 10-year-old can't decide where they go.
Yeah, they
can't
have to go 'cause,
legally
right,
stay
14,
at home, right?
yeah.
And so, but I think the younger you begin to have these conversations, to go, hey, mum and dad are Christians. We believe God exists, but we want you to make your own decision at some stage, right? Like, and they might I don't know. And then, but at least them knowing that you're saying at some stage, and then maybe one day they'll just wake up and go, I don't know if God exists. But they go, Mum's mentioned that before, Dad's mentioned, oh, maybe I should bring it up. Or maybe I should ask my, 15-year-old friend at youth group, right? And this is the thing that we always talk about, partnership with parents in our church. We say that the church is there to support the parents, and the parents can't be the sole voices in their children's lives. And so
especially when they think you're uncool. You need like a cool youth leader to be like, yeah, Jesus is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, at least I think that Wee-Yeong's cool. So we know we can send people your way as well. Look, if they've got questions, you've got programs as well that support people, and a lot of great resources.
Yeah.
Where can people get all this info, Wee-Yeong?
So it's at our website, www.miomo.com. So miomo.com. You can get hold of me, and love to have a chat.
Amazing. I hope you enjoyed that as much as we did.
Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe and turn your notifications on so you don't miss the next video.
We'll see you in the next one.